crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Silver is being held where it is. I don't know what else to say about silver except something that that guy Pozar said. This might be a liquidity issue, much like what happened in 2008. We have some serious shit going on behind the scenes. You're not allowed to see it. You, the investing public, are not allowed to see what's really going on. So silver's being held in check, but it's above the 200-day moving average. Massive shorts have not been covered. I don't know what day silver's going to start to run. And then the only way to stop silver from running over 30, over 50, and over 1,000 is to put some naked shorts on, and a lot of naked shorts. Now, Bank of America did that last year with 800 million ounces that they borrowed from JPM, according to Ted Butler. It's hard to tell, truthfully. You don't know. Here, let me show you where he got that number. It's right here. The OCC derivative report for precious metals, which is 99% silver. We all know that. There's only 4 banks that control the derivative market, and they are JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, and Bank of America. JP Morgan, obviously the most criminal bank on the planet, is the highest derivative holder at $52 trillion, which is insane. I mean, this number, 52 trillion, I was looking at derivative numbers back in the 1980s. And this was not, I mean, it was just in the billions. We're at 52 trillion for one single bank, and that specific bank is the number one criminal bank in the world. Paid off about $40 billion in the last 20 years in just fines. Was the only banker for Bernie Madoff. The only one, and nobody went to jail. Nobody's ever gone to jail from JP Morgan. Why is that? Are we a little angry about that? Oh, we make so much money because we're the largest bank in the world. Congratulations, you steal more money than anybody else. But I would like to point out, JP Morgan has silver derivatives much higher than Bank of America. $27 billion. But the key thing, JP Morgan has been building that derivative position for 10 years. And it's only a 1-year derivative. If you wonder who's closing out contract at the end of each month, it's JP Morgan and friends. $27 billion is, do the math. Divide that by $25. Let's do it right now. And you thought the Hunt brothers was crazy. So let's see. Let's see what Jamie Dimon, how much control he needs of the silver market to keep it in check. So that's 27 billion. Going to have to go sideways with my iPhone calculator because it won't go to the billions. 27 billion divided by 25 is over 1 billion ounces. So clearly, Ted Butler's correct that JP Morgan controls over 1 billion ounces of silver. But Bank of America built their 800 million ounce silver derivative position. Now, this is OCC derivatives, means this isn't COMEX. None of this is COMEX, by definition. None of this is COMEX. This is all off the books. At least from Bank of America, from JP Morgan to Bank of America to rig the silver price. Now, I want to know, there's various, if I was a CFTC commissioner and I said, hey, I just got hired. I hear there's silver manipulation. I'll take Dawn DeBerry's stump position, which she's leaving at the end of the month. At the end of the month, there's 4 openings out of 5 positions. Why wouldn't they hire me? Come on. I'll work for free, CFTC. So the first thing I do is say, hey, let's take a look at these silver short positions, silver derivative positions held by JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Citibank. Those are the only three, as far as the U.S. banks. And who's trading what on each day? On a given day, there's a 500 million ounces that trades. I want to know who and why. Who and why. Who is trading it and why? And who is coordinating it? Is a company called Virtu Financial in the middle of all this shit? The high-frequency trading company that never has lost a penny in like 8 years of trading? Run by Vinny Viola, Bernie Madoff's counterpart? Is BlackRock involved? Of course they're involved. But the key is, I want to know, hey, JP Morgan, how much of the silver that you hold in custody, you're the custodian of SLV's silver, which is owned by the shareholders of SLV. It's not owned by BlackRock. It's not owned by the authorized participants. It's not owned by JP Morgan. It is owned by the shareholders of SLV. Are you using any of that silver in any of your operations? Is there any derivative contracts attached to that silver that is owned by shareholders of SLV, which would be clearly in violation of their intent? They buy silver because they expect the price to go up. They buy SLV because they expect the price to go up. And if you are shorting it on every silver ounce that gets put in that trust, you are violating the investor's rights. And you should be put in jail. I mean, there's so many things you should be put in jail for, Mr. JP Morgan. Blythe Masters might already be in jail. Nobody really knows right now. Jamie Dimon should have been in jail long ago. So that's my number one question. Are you using any of the 600 million ounces that are in SLV as part of your derivative games? And if not, why do you hold 1.2 billion ounces of physical silver when the Hunt brothers got thrown in jail for, they got defunded. They got destroyed by the U.S. government for holding only 100 million ounces of physical and 100 million on the comics. Mr. J.P. Morgan, please explain yourself. Are you using this against the United States of America, against my country? I'm on the CFTC. I'm a CFTC commissioner now. I'm going to pull your ass in and arrest you. I can't arrest you, actually. CFTC can't do shit except fine you. The DOJ sure can arrest you. And Bank of America, did you do it on purpose or are you just stupid? Did you do it on purpose or are you just stupid? The loss at Bank of America right now, Ted Butler just reported this. I think it's $42 billion in losses right now. Unreported losses on that silver short and their gold position. Maybe it was all of them. The silver short is $10 billion loss. And they can't pay back the silver. They're not going to get 800 million ounces of silver. Nowhere. You can't get it. It's hard just getting, retail silver. It's hard to go down to your shop and say, hey, how much silver you got? Oh, here you go. Here's a Silver Eagle. $10 over spot. Why? Why isn't the U.S. Mint printing as many Eagles as possible like they are legally required to? Why aren't all the mints in the world kicking out as much silver as possible? The price is so cheap, there must be silver flowing everywhere. Coming out your ears. It's not. It's a con. So yeah, hire me, CFTC. I want to do my job as a CFTC commissioner because clearly Don DeBerry Stump, according to our reading of Don Barry Stump, she was threatened. Don't you dare uphold the law or we'll take you out. And she said, screw this, I quit. I don't want to get involved in this. She quit a year and a half early. And now there's only one commissioner, Rustin Benham, the guy who said, we had to tamp down the silver price. Does that sound like a regulator to you? We had to tamp down the silver price. That's called market manipulation. That's called price rigging. The CFTC should investigate itself. And Citibank, they've been a criminal bank for longer than I can even imagine. Anybody can imagine. So we have 4 banks. Just 4 U.S. banks with $56 billion in silver derivatives, which is 2 billion ounces. Over 2 billion ounces of silver crimes. There's not 2 billion ounces out there that anybody can get their hands on. Anybody. And yet, these lovely banks are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. To destroy investors, to destroy the price of silver, to destroy the mining companies. I heard Keith Neumeyer talking about the rigging of the silver price. Thank God for Keith Neumeyer. First Majestic. Good for him. We're all the other CEOs. We're those assholes who allow their industry to be destroyed, allow the families of their employees to be destroyed. Their job is to take care of their industry. Keith Neumeyer, bravo to you. Everybody else, what the hell are you thinking? The silver mining industry is embarrassing. But they're up against some big entities. The central banks of the world, the JP Morgans of the world, the Silver Users Association. What other commodity has a users association? Have you ever heard of the Oil and Gas Users Association? That's you and me. Why is silver the only commodity with a users association? And who's in that association? And why do they help rig the price? I can go back 170 years to show you price manipulation in silver. That's what's ending. That's why it's so important to have, much more important to have silver in your portfolio than any crypto, any gold, anything else. It's not necessarily about the future. It's about the ending of 170 years of price suppression. And look how much money they have to dump on it. 4 banks. Actually, it's 3 because Goldman Sachs has barely anything. And they're still freaking out because they had to deliver. But $56 billion, over 2 billion ounces of silver derivatives to suppress the price. And the main 3 banks, JP Morgan, Citibank, and Bank of America. And the CFTC that's supposed to regulate this shit, they're down to 1 commissioner by the end of the month. Rustin Binham. That guy is going to be tried, and we'll find out if he was colluding. Let's check his email. Why not? Why don't we check his WhatsApp? That's what JP Morgan just got busted for again. How many times does JP Morgan have to lie, cheat, and steal before the game is stopped? Anyway, let's talk about, what's his name? Zoltan Pozsar. I love that guy. He's awesome. He's brilliant. He wrote an article and a discussion on zero hedge. We could be looking at the early stages of a classic liquidity crisis. He's not talking about credit default swaps. He's not talking about U.S. Treasuries. He's not talking about the repo market. He is talking about using commodities as collateral. Gee, where could that possibly be? What do you think a silver lease is? $800 million ounce silver lease JP Morgan gave to Bank of America. What is the collateral in a lease? It's the physical silver. What happened to that physical silver? It's gone. That collateral is completely gone. And what happens when you have a collateral problem? Zoltan Pozsar walks you through the pain and suffering that goes on. The Lehman analogy was to underscore the point that just as the market didn't realize the complexity and interconnections of the financial system then, it may not realize the same thing today. If you believe that the West can craft sanctions that maximize pain for Russia while minimizing financial stability risks in the West, you also believe in unicorns. It's not the Bank of Russia's inability to roll FX swaps or de-swifting that causes funding pressures to date, but rather the market's self-imposed unwillingness to buy, move, or finance Russian commodities that's driving current massive bid for cash. Market participants that are long commodities, either in the ground or in transit, and want to lock up the price by shorting futures. These include every commodity producer in the world, including Russia, and every major commodity trading house, respectively. They are screwed. They are screwed. Their commodity collateral has gone bad. Who does this nail? JP Morgan. Don't you love it? But JP Morgan figures, hey, it's Bank of America. Bank of America, too big to fail bank, has to be bailed out by the U.S. people. So let's give them as much silver as possible because it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that Bank of America will repay the silver. Why is it guaranteed? Because they're a too big to fail bank. If they fail, the whole system goes down. And that's the leverage they have over the American people and over the financial system. You can't let us fail. Ha, ha, ha. All the way to the bank. We'll see what happens. Let's let them fail. Let's pull the Band-Aid. Wall Street on parade. The big question on Wall Street is which bank owes $41 billion on credit default swaps on Russia? Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Let's figure this out. Let's go to the quarterly derivatives report. Let's find out, where's credit default swaps? Dun, 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 dun. That's not it. Held for trading. Notional derivative contracts for trading. There's a graph of this, but we know who it is. Let me show you who it is. Credit default swaps. Credit equivalent exposures? No, that's not it. Derivative contracts held for trading? That's not it. Fair value? Trading derivatives from cash instruments? Notional amounts of derivative contracts by maturity, interest rates, XF, FX, and gold. Commodity and equity. Where did credit default swaps go? Well, let's just go to the graph. Four banks that dominate derivatives. This is insane. The top four banks hold 95% of all derivatives. Here they are. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs. Surprise, surprise, surprise. This is just insane. And here's silver. You want to know how silver price never goes up? It's right here. Since 2017 and 2018, which was the beginning of the repo crisis, remember that? They have to bail out a bank. Now it's 1.5 trillion every night, every single night. Look what happened to the derivatives. Now, mind you, silver coming out of the ground has been flat for a few years. It even went down last 2 years because of COVID. It's around $850, 850 million ounces coming out of the ground every year. So there should be no reason to add more derivatives. As a matter of fact, there's plenty of reasons to add less derivatives. But look what happened. Derivatives went from in 2018, they were 33 billion, and now 72 billion. Last year. So they more than doubled. Why? When the silver supply coming out of the ground didn't change, the usage barely changes. It goes up a little every year. A little, like 5% variance. But the derivative book explodes. What don't the regulators get about rigging commodities? Anyway, buy your silver. Go to your local coin shop, buy as much silver as you can. And obviously you have cryptos by now. The number one crypto, hands down, is Theta, Theta Fuel, and even T-Drop, if you like NFTs. Hands down. Theta will go to number one or number two, right there with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin stays up there. Theta will blow by Ethereum. So much better than Ethereum, so much faster. And you can do everything on the Theta blockchain that you can do on the Ethereum block. And it didn't ICO. There's just, I can give you a million reasons why to buy Theta. And I have been. And at below $3, it's like a screaming buy. It's going into the thousands. It's going to surpass Bitcoin. It's the future of the internet. If you don't have any yet, get some now. We teach you how to do that on the private road to Ruta, or just go on YouTube and figure it out yourself. You can get it. Go to Simple Swap or call up Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown will sell it to you and teach you how to store it. I highly suggest keep it in your own possession. Because of what we see in Canada, what we're seeing in Russia, what we're seeing in the Ukraine. Don't you wish, all of them are saying, oh my God, I wish I had my assets in my own possession. Visa and MasterCard are not working anymore. And PayPal's not working in Russia. This is like the banker's worst freaking nightmare. You think any Russian's going to pay off their credit card bill now to Visa or MasterCard? And where do those go? They are securitized. Visa and MasterCard don't go hold any of that debt. They securitize it, the banks securitize it, and they sell it to pension funds. And they slice and dice it. Those are all going bad. Everybody in Russia is not going to have to pay any more of their debt. Same with the Ukraine. That's what, hey, everybody in Canada saw how easy it is. They can cut you off from their system. We need a new system. We need a better way. Cryptos are that better way. Yes, there'll be chaos from between here and there. But get your cryptos, hold them in your own possession, hodl, and sit on the sidelines and watch this. The other thing going on, as Cliff High gave us about a month ago, on the private road, Cliff did a special talk about the bad guys' next attack. It's all about food. And here we have food crisis about to get a lot worse after China says winter wheat condition could be the worst in history. Europe is going to be starved out. Where does fertilizer come from? The natural gas coming from Russia. This is all part of the plan. They want to starve you out. These people are evil. They're beyond evil. It's our fault for not putting them in jail years ago. If you don't uphold the law, what do you expect? They expect us to follow the law, but not them. Why aren't the Clintons in jail if they're still alive? We know what they did with Russia. They colluded with Russia. Why isn't everybody on the Mueller investigation team in jail right now? It's not like they missed it. It's not something you can miss. How much did we pay for that Mueller investigation? How did they miss everything? They're criminal. They're crooked. They all belong in jail. If you don't put people in jail, this is what you get. Anyway, again, we are on the road show, Wednesday night show in Santa Barbara, California. It's a night show from 5 to 9. 5 to 9, can't wait. It's at Timbers Roadhouse in Goleta. Come visit us. It's going to be a blast. And then we're on to LA next Saturday with Bitcoin Ben. Go to roadtoruta.com. Go to the road show, and there's all the dates. Bitcoin Ben will visit us in LA. And San Diego, Andy Shackman will be there. Phoenix is Jenny Moonstone, Litecoin Lisa, Clint Westwood. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. And then we finish up in Albuquerque. And it's going to be the end of part 1. Then we're going to go on part 2 somewhere later in the year to probably Texas, Midwest, Florida, that area. And then up to New York and Boston, and then back around through the top of America. And hopefully we can get everywhere. Do your part. Join in the fight. Spread the word. Freedom, silver, cryptos, equal freedom. That's the Freedom Roadshow. If you want to join the Road to Ruta, if you can't come out to a show, hit subscribe today. Join the 1-year private road. We will send you 50 T-Fuel loaded on paper wallets. Over time, these will be like gold. Literally. Go check it out. Go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today, and we will talk to you later.